Welcome and welcome back, Radiant Ones, to the Radiant Revival Summit, the easy 1% shifts to unlock your ageless vitality. Today, I am so excited and thrilled to bring you Beverly Heels Whitlow, the CEO of Beverly Heels Health and Wellness and the host of the Sexy Side of Menopause cast. Beverly is a powerhouse in holistic wellness. She is helping women navigate the menopause journey, changing the narrative with confidence, health, and a sense of fabulousness. With her expertise, she is empowering women to transform their lives, change their mindsets and lifestyle holistically. Beverly, we are thrilled to have you on Radiant Revival today.
Ladies, grab your heels. This conversation is going to be
Yes, so glad you're here. So, Beverly, there is so much we could talk about with menopause. And your approach, really, the number one thing, helps women rebrand menopause in their mind as an empowering journey rather than a midlife struggle. Give us a little taste, share with us why this mental mindset is so vital, important, and critical so that we can embrace and navigate our menopause journey.
okay, ladies. I was telling Kimberly, this can go for hours because I love the topic of menopause. My podcast, The Sexy Side of Menopause, is out there to inspire women, to encourage women who are going through the menopause journey. So the menopause journey is about 3/4 of our lives. And if we're not taking that and owning it for ourselves, then we fall into the narrative that society has about women going through this menopause journey as being irrelevant. And that's totally not true. I know phenomenal women who are going through this journey, and each woman's journey, believe it or not, is different. So you can actually lean into your menopause your way. And this is because if you know some of the things that your body is asking for and reciprocate in a way that your body is just like, okay, I'm getting the attention I need on this journey, then a lot of the challenges that you hear that women are going through, they're really fixable by bringing in the right aspects of the journey.
You said something that I had to, so Radiant Ones, grab a pen. You say this, but I'm going to have a page of notes by the time we're done here, and then we'll be having another encore. You said something that just stopped me in my tracks. I really had to think about that for a minute. You said we're on our menopause journey for 3/4 of our lives. Now, in my mind, I'm thinking, I kind of felt like menopause midlife, that was at the halfway point, and the menopause portion, it's like the last quarter where we're kind of put out to pasture. And you're giving me, explain what you mean by 3/4. First of all, it felt really scary. And then I'm like, crap, I was not prepared. And I've already missed half of it or a third of it or a quarter of it. Wherever our women are, right? We're 40 and up, we're premenopause, peri, in it,
Right.
post. So how are we in it for 3/4 of our lives? Because that's the first time I've even heard it referred to in that way.
Okay. All right. So when it comes to the menopause journey, we have to understand that there are phases to it. And unfortunately, the narrative that you hear is like it's old haggard woman that's like in the last phase of her life, 60 or 70 years old. That is a phase. But the menopause journey is from the point of late 30s to early 40s and the remainder of your life. So this perimenopause journey is where our hormones are starting to do a little dance. You might not recognize it until you get into your 40s, but a lot of things are happening to our food supply that women literally are showing up in their doctor's office with all of these symptoms. They don't know what's happening, and the doctor's trying to prescribe something and not even understanding that they are in the perimenopause phase. So this perimenopause phase can last about 15 years. Then you get to your menopause phase. And ladies, menopause may not be what you think it is because it is different And I refer to it lovingly as your menopause birthday because it's actually one day. Menopause is one day. Yeah, I know.
Wait, okay. I won't be able to listen to anything else until I get unstuck from this. What do you mean by menopause is one day?
Okay. So when you go 365 days without a cycle, that point is the day that you're in menopause. So that's your menopause. That's your
That's
birthday.
so your period ending is when menopause begins, but the on ramp to that is 15 years prior. It's like an on ramp to a freeway. And we're already driving on it, whether we know it or not, whether we like to hear it, want to hear it or not, which is why we're here talking to you, because we
Yep.
need to hear this and be prepared, buckle up, put a gas in the tank. Um, so the menopause formal designation is that 366th day where there has not been a cycle. Okay. But what about if you were medically induced? You had it, you know, um, for medical reasons, you no longer have it. You didn't go through it naturally. Is
Yep.
that still the same?
It is a little different, but that's in a different category when it's medically induced because that's not a window of a runway that you're prepared for. It's like you go in, have this surgery the next day, you've got all kind of things that can show up that were not there today, the day before.
Okay.
So one of the things that I wanted to put in context for women is to know that as you're making your way through this journey, know specifically that you have gone this 365 days because that is key. There's a lot of memes out there in social media where these women are in the doctor's office just pouring their heart out because they're pregnant at 50, 55, 60. Like, if you are not outside of that window, you can become pregnant. And when I was growing up as a baby boomer, there was always this reference to, oh, well, they're a change baby. And change baby meant these are women that were going through the change but had not totally transitioned, found themselves pregnant and having babies at the point that they should be the grandmother.
Yeah. Oh, so before we started, recording the interview, you mentioned some key things about how hormones, and since you've referred indirectly to it right now, how they play such a pivotal role in menopause. So give us a little 101, right? Just enough that we don't walk away ignorant. We're not too dangerous, but teach us a little bit about what we should know about estrogen, progesterone, and insulin.
Right. Okay. So when we think about going on this perimenopause journey, this is where these hormones are starting to do the dance and it becomes noticeable. There are a lot of hormones that your body is adjusting to, but these are the three main ones that we refer to as like the sex hormone. So your estrogen, progesterone, and your testosterone are the major ones. So when you think of estrogen women, this is what allows us to be the woman that we are with the voluptuousness, the shape, the curviness, and it also allows us to have that reproductive capability to have a baby. So when you're going through the menopause journey, that starts to take a dive. And there are a lot of symptoms that women complain about, which is challenging for some, but then some women don't really have that challenge at all. So just having a high level understanding when you see some of these things happen, you can go into your doctor and they can test and let you know where your hormones are with your estrogen. But the estrogen is usually the one that you'll hear people talk about. Oh, I'm having the hot flashes. I'm having the hot flashes. Not every woman has hot flashes. I want to put that out. There's 20% of the women that have no hot flashes. I didn't really have problems with hot flashes. I did a market research of a group of women, and many of my women did not even know they were going through the menopause journey. So just know, women, that the journey is different. Some people go straight through it and not realize it. Some women have major problems. Like I said, I didn't really have problems with hot flashes. I had other things. My major one was the weight gain, which goes back to some more of these challenges when your sex hormones are shifting. So when you think about the testosterone, this is the part of us that men are dominant in, but women, we have that testosterone as well. And this is where we have these like little whiskers that might show up or little things that pluck when our testosterone starts to shift. And I'm a person that lives in my esthetician's office, so I'm always getting waxing done because this is just a part of life. It's like when you were a teenager and going through that adolescent shift, you started to develop. Like, you didn't just show up and doctor up, like, give me a whole lot of medications to make this go away. It's just a journey. It's just a change, and you shift and adjust accordingly. The next aspect of it is like definitely thinking about the insulin. And this is the weight gain. This is the one that got my attention. I'm like this size for 120, 30 pounds, good day, bad day, depending on what side I'm on. And it's just like, well, what is going on? Why is this scale changing? Well, my hormones had started to do a dance. I did nothing different. I wasn't eating differently. I wasn't cutting out on my exercise. It's just like life was happening. And it's just like, hey, I need to know the answer. What's happening? So this led me down a rabbit hole, which resulted in my certification as health and wellness. My doctor, I found, and ladies, please lean into this. This is where being in the community, having conversation with other women who are on this journey can be helpful for you, because going to my doctor, I'm the person that comes into my doctor's office with a notebook and pen. It's just like, I have all of these questions to ask, and they're looking at me like, I have 10 minutes with you. I don't have to go listen. It's just like, well, wait a minute. I'm paying a lot of money for this service. I don't know what's happening to me. I need answers, and it's not going to be covered in 10 minutes. So you have to do your research. You have to have a understanding of what's happening in your bodies and be able to clearly articulate what is happening and give that information to the doctor, so you don't end up walking out of the door with a lot of prescriptions that's not really addressing your shift of hormones.
So good. I had a question I want to ask when you talked about hot flashes, because that is one of the stereotypical common things, and understanding that not all women are going to have it. What happens if you aren't really aware of it? Because I guess my question would be like, what if somebody exercises and so they get a sweat out? For any of our audience that is in the pre-stage where it's like, I don't want that train coming for me. But if you already regularly sweat because of exercise or your job, your activity, whatever it is, maybe you work in a kitchen, right? And does that change the hot flash, or it's irrelevant? Like, you're going to get a whole nother set of heat.
I am going to share, but I don't want women to throw their hands up in fear and fright, because it's different for every woman, okay?
Okay.
Different. You can be the person that have hot flashes, and it's just like the perspiration starts to pop off on your temples, just like you're doing a workout and you feel warm. That's a mild. Then you could look at the extreme where I've heard women say they had to pull wigs off, they had to strip out of clothes, their head in the freezer. Like, that's an extreme area. So know that there is a big width between what you could feel, but it's an internal heat. That's just like something that you can't turn down. And you don't know, it's like a contraction for those who have had children. Is it going to be a minute? Is it going to be 5 minutes? It varies. So just don't accept some terror story somebody told you. Okay.
I like that. Thank you for talking that off the ledge, because I mean, it's true. We don't want to, have anyone feel, pigeonholed into something. And so your exercise may or may not, have an effect. If you sweat in other areas, may not be relevant for this. It may compound it. It's happening at the same time.
Similar to a workout, when it starts to happen, all of a sudden you're going to stop in your tracks. You're like, what the hell is happening to me? And it's like, you can't stop it. It's just like the cartoons. I was a big cartoon person on Saturday morning. And it's like, it shows the characters when they're enraged and the red zone is going all the way up until it covers. That's the way it feels, like an inferno that's like out of control. You can't stop. But just know, it doesn't come and stay. Like, it's here and then it's gone.
It feels like forever in the moment, but it does go away.
Happen again. Like, is it going to happen at an inopportune time? Is it going to happen when I'm in a business meeting with a bunch of men and all of a sudden I'm sweating profusely and got to excuse myself because I need to draw up or something. So just know, do a little research on hot flashes. But one of the things I can tell you, what you're consuming can exacerbate that immensely.
So I was coming at it from like the exercise fitness side, but what we eat plays a part in the heat.
You know what? I had these conversations. Kim is like my BFF now. It's, I had these sipping chats with some of my friends, and I have been a love of wines like all of my life. As a young girl growing up, my community used to have these competitions about who can make the best wine. So as a little girl, I'm stomping around in the bathtub with grapes to help my dad make wine for the holiday contest. Then I ended up moving to California, going to all of these different venues, doing wine tasting. So I love wine. Then I ended up going to Paris for like 3 times every time I go. But understanding now that wine is a big disruptor to our hormones.
Oh, dang.
What?
Wait, no, don't burst my wine bubble.
What?
Don't burst my wine bubble.
I have good news. I will never come with bad news and not give you something to go with it. So
Okay, talk me off the ledge. I'm already worried that I can't have wine.
let me give you some more information. So what I found, because I'm such a wine lover, is just like, okay, how can I get a wine that doesn't cause this major disruption to my body? So I'm researching and researching and found that it's the sugar lady and the preservatives in the wine. So in looking farther, there had been wine that have been made by individuals who are very conscientious about their health and wellness, where they found a way to extract the sugar from the wine and also bringing down the alcohol content. And you can have this without guilt. I mean, you got to drink responsibly, but the effects of having a regular glass of wine with all the sugar and all the preservatives that was put in the grapes versus a wine that has no sugar in it, low alcohol, piece of cake. So there's this company that I started doing my wine through, and it was like through a membership, and it's just like I don't really want to do, but I was getting the better quality wine. Now you can go into the grocery store. There is a whole sections of wine now that have no sugar. Um, Candace, think of her name, Candace. Anyway, there's a line of wine. Cameron Diaz. She was like the Charlie's Angels girl. Okay. So she
Actress.
and she's health and wellness, California way of living. I lived in California a long time, so I understood it. So she partnered with a lot of people, got a line of wines, and now you can find her line of wines in the store, and it's called Eveline. So I actually can just run by the grocery store and pick up a bottle of wine, and when I have my sipping chats, enjoy it because there's no sugar to disrupt my hormones. So there you go.
Oh my gosh, I absolutely love that. It's so good to have a resource. Like, please don't leave us with a cliffhanger, wanting more and yearning for that next glass. But that leads to something else we wanted in our pre-show notes. We wanted to talk about, which is the important and the value of detox, because the hormone disrupting what you eat lends itself in there. And also detox has kind of been demonized in a dirty word because there have been some recommendations that are helpful for some, and I'm not going to say harmful. I said the word, but that's not what I mean. I'm saying it may not work for everyone the way they are recommending it. So specifically for women I don't know if there's a difference. I guess you'll educate us. What do you recommend for detoxing for the woman over 40?
Lean in, ladies. Detoxing is a game changer in menopause. They're not talking about it because it does work.
What if okay, I'm going to say the very first objection is I don't want to feel deprived. And to me, detox and deprivation kind of go hand in hand. I'm saying that, but I also know a lot of the ladies that I had surveyed beforehand, detox is a dirty word.
Menopause is a dirty word, but I don't agree with that.
Okay, fair. We're going to redefine it. So how help us redefine detox. Like, how could we make it one of our superpowers?
So, just like the narrative is that menopause is a dirty word, I don't agree with that. I see menopause as a gift. This is your body saying, "You neglected me, and I've been trying to do the best I can. So, this is a time to reset and give me what I need so we can thrive during this next stage of life with this hormonal change." With detox, because the narrative out there is a dirty word, because there is a range of ways to detox. I detox in the most natural way because this is the way I grew up as a baby boomer. A lot of those practices are fallen by the wayside because we're trying to do things quick and fast. You can go into the health food store and find a little box that say, "This is a detox." And they're filled with laxatives and some probiotics that help populate your gut microbiome and all of these supplements, which is still stuff that's cooked up in a lab that's not natural. So, with my way of detoxing, it's about bringing in vitamins and nutrients that your body needs, nothing that's artificial, nothing that's out of box. This is my program. It's natural. And it's about removing those things that are causing disruption to your hormones. Sugar, as I just indicated, is a major disruption for our bodies, ladies, as we're going through the menopause journey. So that's the aspect of detoxification that may seem scary to women if they're coming through my program because they think like, "Oh, I can never give up sugar. I can never give up sugar." Well, we don't do a cold turkey giving up sugar. We go in phases. And it's very important to work with somebody who understands detoxification so you're not in a place where you're overwhelmed and going through difficulties. If you take it step by step, you honestly will not believe how much better you will feel. I've worked with ladies going through my detoxification in as little as 5 days. They will say, "Oh my God, my back problem is not the same way it used to be. I don't have to worry about taking time and thinking about getting up out of the bed. Oh my God, some of the inflammation that was in my body and in my knee, I don't feel that anymore. Oh, the weight is starting to fall." I'm like, your body naturally is asking for a detoxification of these chemicals that we're getting in our foods. We don't realize how much we're bringing into our bodies and not just what we're eating. It's in our waters. When you take a shower that's coming through the filtration system to clean the water, it's in the water you're drinking. It's in the products we're using in our hair. It's like the makeup we're using. It's our perfume. We have toxicity everywhere. And we just have to start taking account of this and make little changes. It's not something that you're going to do a 180, but you make little changes. I told you, I used to be a model. I used to be head to toe painted and looking good in my makeup. Now I'm very conscientious about the makeup products I use because I know what I put on my skin is going into my pores. I spend time into my esthetician's office because I want to use good products to keep my skin vibrant and healthy. There's a lot of things that I was buying on the over the counter. There's a way that you can read the labels and find out the level of toxicity in products that can rate something from 0 to 100. I remember looking at a product that I had been using for all of my life, like a moisturizer, and the product toxicity level was a 0. I can't believe, like a 0, not a 5 or a 10, it was a 0. And then going and researching some alternatives that I can use. Now I use body butters, all naturally made. When I use it, I don't have any concern about it being a disruption to my hormone level. So it's just like these little themes, and you're not really going to get that conversation when you go into your doctor's office. I think Kim's frozen. Hopefully she will pop back on. But as she's making her way back, I think I'll just add a little bit more. Understanding that you can do simple as a 5-day detox and see changes in your health is phenomenal. And unfortunately, when you go and see your doctor, they're usually not talking about doing a detoxification to help your body. It's usually one of those things that's based on having some type of pharmaceutical drug to support you in getting yourself on this journey of wellness. So I hope that's very helpful. I'm sure that there's probably questions that you have, and
No,
those
I,
open.
we've lost our whole power grid, like for real.
Ooh.
Everything in my house is off and down. So either, I don't know, maybe there's a light pole, maybe utility is working on something. Oh,
As we're talking about menopause and we're busting the myths.
so Beverly, you have mentioned that in your experience and referencing back to, when you were a model, that keeping a strong mind and the mindset changes are like changing the narrative, not falling into the pit of the stereotype and what does it need to be for you. So how can we keep our mindset strong? Like, what if we don't know what we don't know? And guide us through some things to help this support us in navigating the journey should we choose and start looking at this menopause instead of as a detriment, but actually as a gift, bringing out our best selves and our optimal health and wellness. How can we start using our mind as that superpower to help make that happen?
Okay. There's a lot for me to say. I'm going to try to condense it. One, the mindset piece was missing when I'm looking around conversations related to menopause and the journey. I decided I have to be the change in the world. So I started my own podcast called The Sexy Side of Menopause. That's because that mindset piece is so pivotal. There is a process to life, and you are constantly changing and evolving. And you can accept the narrative that as you're getting older and changing, that you are irrelevant, or you're stepping into a phenomenal space in life that's a gift for you to unfold and unbox and present to the world. During this phase of your postmenopausal journey, you're probably retired, possibly empty nesting. A lot of things that are coming up as women are looking at relationships and trying to figure out, like, is this still the person that is going to be helping me to evolve to the next level? Or is this the person that's keeping me to a place that I'm not moving to another level? We all change. In addition to women going through menopause, men go through change called andropause. Their hormones are shifting and changing. You hear men talk about the midlife crisis. That's a totally different conversation. So understanding as these things are unfolding, aging parents are happening. There's so much, but you have to make the decision. Okay, how am I going to navigate this? Do I have a situation where I need somebody to support me? Do I have a community of people that I can, like, iron sharpen the iron and get some support from? That's what the sexy side of menopause is about for me. It's bringing women who are on this menopause journey, who are doing phenomenal things, and their life got even better as a result of going through the menopause journey. One of the things that I can say about myself is that I was not given a roadmap about the menopause journey. When I was probably in high school, I think my mom gave me a book about menopause, and it was by Dr. Christian Northrup. She was like the authority on menopause. Back in the day when I was coming up, women didn't talk about menopause. And as I was conversation with other conversating with other women doing my market research, a lot of them didn't hear about menopause either. And if they ever heard anything, it was like all of the negative symptoms. But if you're in community and you're having conversation with other women and understanding, like, what happened to this woman doesn't necessarily have to happen to me. And I didn't have the conversation with my mom to have a narrative in my head about menopause. And I didn't read the book. It kind of stayed on my shelf until, like, I was doing my research 15 years ago. I'm like, oh, what's happening to my body? So there was no picture in my head that I was going to take away about what menopause was. So I got to define it for myself. And if I look at my entire life, to me, I've been through so much shit that menopause has been a cakewalk. So I had to make the decision, like, okay, so what's happening with my body while I'm picking up this extra weight and figure out what to do. And I figured it out. Detoxing, and I'm still a sexy girl, even in my postmenopausal phase. So I hope that answers your question, kid.
It does, because here's the thing, you brought up oh my gosh, we just need more time with a glass of low sugar wine. And couple of things that you brought to mind, really powerful, that I actually felt a shift in my body with this, like at the cellular level, which is why you're so brilliant, which is why I wanted you here, which is why I wanted others to hear what you have to offer, because we so need to hear this. One, that I think a big aha that I just had, and it's the first time I've even thought of this, is a midlife crisis often has been coupled with menopause. So it makes that menopause definition a derogatory thing. But they're two separate things. Like they could happen concurrently, but they're not really related.
Yes.
Holy shit. Like that's amazing. And the midlife crisis is really more for the andropause for men. It's not necessarily for women, but there wasn't a word for women. And so they just lumped it into menopause to make us even feel worse because
Yeah.
oh my, like that was a huge revelation. Number two, there's a lot of cultures, a lot of generations that don't talk about about these things. You and I on our conversation a few days ago, like I can't even have a conversation about colonoscopies with my mom because she refuses to have that, no matter how wonderful and important it would be. But some people were raised that way. Some people don't have people to have that conversation with. So your point about being in community to like talk about the uncomfortable, the untalked about things, and to be that advocate to ask questions. It's a matter of when, not if. This is coming. And we really do ourselves a disservice if we do not really acknowledge that. Like we would advocate for everyone else because we advocate for everyone and everything else. Why aren't we doing this for ourselves in the same way? And if we're too tired and exhausted, that means we're spending too much time on them. And we absolutely have to siphon back time back for ourselves because we can't serve them if we've already been extinguished. That was my second aha. The other thing that you said, and let me just have a look here. Oh, the sexy side of menopause. You just made something that, it makes us irrelevant is how it's portrayed so often. And I love that you were bringing us back into significance. I feel like menopause is the chrysalis. Like we were the caterpillar before, and we don't demonize the chrysalis. We don't say it's a bad thing, right? You get reshaped, you get molded into a new form, and you come out a butterfly. And I think that's the gift that you just brought for me today, and that you really enlightened and shared that made possible for so many others, especially, the ones that are going to be listening to this I'm going to have you on replay, but bringing back your significance, because I think so often our self-worth is tied into all the bodily things and all the body functions. And there's all the support, right? What to do when you're expecting and all the childhood. And there isn't really a lot. So the fact that you've given us a roadmap with a few destinations on here with knowing your hormone disruptors, adding some detox and being powerful with your mind, like this is a beautiful thing, Beverly.
I have one more ad.
Oh, bring it. And then we got to talk about the gift.
I'm so interested in women having conversations and understanding that this menopause journey is different for from woman to woman. I've joined Clubhouse to be a part of a conversation on a weekly basis entitled The Menopause Journey. So I'm there with two other co-moderators, and we have a set topic from week to week, but it also allows women to come into the room. It's women only, it's not recorded, to have a conversation about what they may be experiencing. We're having conversation with each other. We're not medical doctors. My area is detoxification. There's someone there that's a nurse for 20 years, and then there's someone who's like a doula who works with wholeness. So us having this synergy and women coming into the room to be a part of the conversation. I have women that come into the room that are on the menopause journey, don't know what's happening, and have found more information about this journey than they ever found going to the doctor. There's young girls who are coming into the room, like teenagers, like, oh, I just want to understand what's happening to my mom during this journey. So it's very helpful that I have a space that I can come and hear conversations. And then there's women who are postmenopausal like myself, sharing what I went through, what works, what you can do to navigate this. So it's just a wonderful community. In addition to now, I think there's a lot of Facebook groups that are popping up where you can do that. So just start being in these spaces and being a part of the conversation, but also be mindful. Don't buy into the negativity, because that mindset to me is such a game changer. And if you bring in the toxic negativity, you will bring that into fruition.
Oh, yes. And you know what? And for the woman, there's going to be a few that listen. If you still can't do this for yourself, do this for you so that you can share it
Yeah.
with your nieces, with your grandbabies, and both the males and the females. Like this isn't just woman information. Our sons need to know this. Our nephews need to know this. The generation coming up that are the future husbands and wives and parents. Really, this should be part of just a normal conversation. And what's really important is again back to the, some generations and some cultures don't talk. And so for a woman who doesn't have language to even approach her doctor and articulate, right? They have other words for their lady bits and the private parts. And being able to accurately describe something can help save a life if there's, a potential urgent diagnosis at stake, and being able to accurately describe what's going on. And so again, this is to empower you. This is certainly not medical advice. Always consult, your practitioner of choosing. However, you don't need to be ignorant, and you definitely really need to advocate and be better prepared so that this can be taken care of.
Right. Right. So you said a couple of things. On my podcast, The 60 Side of Menopause, I'm not just having conversations about the menopause journey and like what symptoms and what you can do to navigate this as far as your health and wellness. I'm also talking to women who navigated this and did amazing things in this next chapter of life. I've also talked to medical doctors. So I had a interview with a medical doctor on one of my episodes, and she's talking about how you can use hormones to help you do. So I'm having a 360 conversation. I had a conversation with a gentleman who was worried about what was going on with his wife and wanted to support her, and how he went on this journey with her. I have a woman on there who's talking about dating at this phase. So there's a lot of different conversations. So I just encourage you to go to my website. You can find all of the links to all of my social media from my website, but the
We'll
podcast
have that in the show notes as well.
is held under my YouTube channel, and there are a litany of conversations that are helpful for you if you're just getting started and don't know, like, where do I get started? My intention is to bring the conversation of menopause into all spaces and to have it in a way that is not off-putting.
I so love that. And something that we can put on is some more knowledge and a voice. And you have an amazing gift. So tell us about that. Share with us what you're bringing to the table for us to snack on, my friend, and have menopause be a delicious and yummy experience. And
Okay.
I don't know that it's food related. I don't mean that, but yeah.
Well, because I'm focused on detoxification, it is food related. One of the things that I hear from our women a lot is like when they're starting to go through the menopause journey and noticing their body changes, it's like this waistline disappears. And I don't know about you, but I feel like our waistline is one of those things that help with our self-esteem. And when you talk about your health as women, our waistlines should not exceed 34 inches. You run into health problems once you get on the other side of 34 inches. So I have a free gift for you. It is not one, two, three, four, five, but 6 ways to bust through belly fat. So as you're going on this menopause journey, ladies, get your copy. It is not overwhelming. It's just a very easy first step, because if you understand what food does to impact you on your journey, you are definitely taking a quantum leap into a very successful journey on this menopause period.
Oh my gosh, 6 ways for belly fat. And here's a thought, and I know we got to wrap this up. And you've been so generous with your time. I just want to thank you in advance before I thank you. Um, this just occurred, but I'm sure you've probably been aware of it. But as our certain milestones in life are happening later, like we used to get married often in our teens, start having kids. It was more clearly distinctive when menopause started. But as these mile markers, the economic ones, the social ones, as far as like women graduating from college and then you get married, but you don't have a baby right away. If women aren't even having their children till the 30s, which is the beginning onset of perimenopause, then a lot of this has been muddled because we think, oh, it's just the baby weight. Well, it could be both. You could still be actively ovulating. You could still be actively getting pregnant and starting menopause.
Exactly.
And so it's like, what a great resource, but also what a great revelation to be aware of, that there could be two things happening is that there's the ebb and the flow, and then there's the time where the tide is like for both.
Right. Which is so important to understand the symptoms of menopause while you're talking to your doctor about your pregnancy.
So good.
Definitely have to be in partnership with your doctor on. Absolutely.
Yeah, they're part of your team at this point, right? They work for you. They are not domineering over you. They are part of your team. And like anything else, you might need a second opinion.
Have to educate your doctors truly, because menopause in general has not been a topic that doctors have gone and spent many, many hours of study on. It's been like, if you pull up, like do a search of doctors who talked about menopause, they will totally inform you that they didn't get enough information to understand their own journey in menopause as women doctors, and that they had to go and do some research and learn more about that menopause. And if you had a doctor that was a male who went to school many, many decades ago, they are not really aware. And they're probably going to put you in the category of being a woman that's just whining about like things in life. And this is just one more thing. So just be educated, because you might have to inform your doctor about what's happening to you on this journey. And nutrition is another thing. Doctors don't really spend very much time, if they do a couple of hours during their entire training to become a medical doctor, on nutrition. And nutrition is a key component.
Oh, thank you for leaving us with that delicious nugget of wisdom. Thank you, Beverly Heels Whitlow, for sharing your insights, such sage advice. That's really going to help us with our energy and vitality today. Your approach to the sexy side of menopause is truly full of epiphanies, revelations, and inspiring. And I know our audience is absolutely going to eat up those 6 ways to melt that belly fat. But also you're giving us a fresh perspective on how we are still significant and, have such a good mind and looking forward to what is available and possible in our future. Thank you so much for being here.
It has been my pleasure. Thank you so much for inviting me. And if I can help your audience in any way, just reach out to me. I love the conversation of menopause. And maybe someone out there can be a guest on my podcast. I love to have the conversation.
Oh my gosh, that would be fabulous. Radiant Ones, did you hear that? Did you take a page of notes? So make sure to put this on repeat, lean in and listen to it again, because there were so many nuggets of wisdom and just pearls of insight. So thank you so much. We're going to see you in the next session.
Thank you. Good to be here.